Nothing grabs your attention quite like a stubbed toe, or when you bite your tongue. These are normally painful clues that you've mentally wandered off somewhere. You've temporarily become absent-minded, and you're rudely brought back a millisecond before the pain hits. Suddenly we have no choice but to come back to the present. Missing the last step on the stairs is always a bit of a shocker. But the overall message goes much deeper than that. We instinctively act when we touch something hot on a fire as we whip our hands away quickly. Just in the same way we should react when we get other subtle signals such as back pain or toothache or a headache. Not being in the present because of either stress or anxiety, we can easily bypass the subtle signs that all is not well. Of course, this can lead to far more serious situations in times to come if these issues are not addressed correctly in the now. Otherwise, now has a habit of getting your full attention in one way or another. There's no actual past for us in this life. It isn't a thing as such. For us right here, functioning in linear time, there are only memories or snapshots of the past. We cannot rewind to change anything. The future is also as unreachable because it never actually arrives. Due to the man-made measurement of time, we are able to plan ahead and arrange events, but it still only exists as an intention. The only sure moment there really is now. In fact, that's all there ever is, a whole series of back-to-back nows. Physical life is temporary, and our aging process is a continual reminder of the fact. We effectively have our own inbuilt countdown watches, but if we remove this aging process, think about how this would change our relationship with the now. Our brains are great at storing information, remembering past events and applying these experiences to possible future outcomes. We rely on the grey matter to help us navigate the physical world around us, and it is a safety mechanism that we rely on for good reason, to remind us to be cautious or that certain situations are enjoyable. It's a tool that enables us to survive by means of remembering, and then using these memories to plan ahead, but like any tool, once it's served its purpose, we should remember to switch it off. If an electric drill is left switched on, unattended, it can become a nuisance and possibly dangerous. Just like the brain, we need to rest it until it is required again, otherwise it'll find its own things to do. The freewheeling rambling of an unoccupied brain, if left completely unmonitored, can wander off into unhelpful areas. Recognizing the mischief-making white noise of a chitter-chatter brain is another game we should start playing. Most of our activities can be accomplished automatically with minimal brain activity. We simply do not need to have our brains whizzing and whirring 24/7. Once your awareness has been activated to this game, the clues start to become obvious. Do you keep drifting into fear as your dominant emotion? Then you're probably spending too much time pondering the unhelpful possibilities of the future. If it's anxiety, then it's the unchangeable past. And then of course there are a million variables in between for you to decipher and play with. Are we generally tense, anxious, calm, or relaxed? Our brains kick in as and when we need them, but allowing them to relax is just as important. Otherwise they'll happily overindulge on our behalf. To be able to dispense with the unnecessary thought activities of the brain and to bring yourself back to the present is a powerful practice. It allows us to declutter the mind of any unnecessary junk. But what about the more common reasons for wandering off from the now? Perhaps you're waiting until you retire. Perhaps until you get that promotion, until you get that mortgage paid, until I inherit, until I pay off the loan, etc., etc. Too much waiting until can also contribute to missing the now. it also implies that you're not very satisfied with the present. And in a world of reflections, that's not a great stance. And the unfortunate thing about this way of thinking is that you will always be in search for something better in the future to wait for. It'll never stop. By simply surrendering and fully accepting where you are now will not prevent you from having these positive things that are yet to come to you. Happiness is not a future date. It should be very much part of the process. The journey in that way also becomes the destination. So now is no longer used as a vehicle to get somewhere else. Buddha said, if you want to know the past, look at your present life. If you want to know the future, look at your present. So what can we do to bring ourselves back into the now? Meditating is probably the most obvious way to empty the mind of all thoughts, like defragging an old computer. This practice effectively presses the reset button within your mind and allows for a balanced intuition and inner guidance to retake control from the overactive brain. Once you've managed to acquire a state of calm and quietness internally, all you're left with is the full appreciation of the here and now and where it may lead. Our minds love to race around, so allow these thoughts to come and go, thinking about your breathing and focus on the silence. Try to give your emotions the space they need to work themselves out. Let them settle into the moment and enjoy the feelings of calm. It doesn't come easy for some, and it's all about practice, but we should all be able to manage at least 20 minutes a day. Other ways to experience the now is simply to micro-analyze the moment you happen to find yourself in. The beauty of all things simply lies with your ability to appreciate them. In every moment of every day, nature shows us her magnificence and an opportunity to find peace and calm, and to marvel that on a quantum level, everything physical is made up from the same clever energized matter. It really is worth having a second look at this extraordinary stuff around you. We are all connected in this way. Fill your lungs, take a deep breath of invigorating oxygen, and realize that the trees also breathe in and out. Even the earth appears to breathe when viewed from space as the tides, the days, the seasons flow in and out. If you are able, try sitting in unadulterated nature for a period of time. It won't take long to tune into your setting. Anyone who has had the privilege of experiencing the extraordinary abundance of life in a rainforest or jungle will have noticed that the insects and birds have a natural rhythm to the morning and evening chorus. It's one of the most wonderful and entrancing sounds on earth. It changes throughout the day but always has a synchronicity, and this rhythm is found in all of nature. Take the opportunity to immerse yourself within a completely natural environment, steering away from man-made constructions and artificial noises. Take a moment to study what you hear, colours, smells. Notice that colours never clash in nature. It really doesn't matter whether it's a sea, woodland, field or mountains, just as long as it's natural and you can surround yourself with it. Allow the intelligence of nature to flow through you for as long as possible. Appreciate that you are very much part of that natural scene. Some people prefer to go for a drive or read a book, whatever works best for you. It's not always possible to get away from it all, but there's always time to allocate yourself half an hour for a moment's peace and quiet. Rather sadly, nature's glorious show tends to go unnoticed by the masses as we get on with our busy lives. But she's always there, constant in her perfection and completely free for us to access. The Tao Te Ching, written in the 4th century BC, summed this up beautifully, referring to Mother Nature as the Tao. The Tao does nothing but leaves nothing undone. Effortless perfection. We can cut out much of the clutter from external influences by limiting our access to them with a little self-imposed discipline. It's really not that difficult. So turn off the TV, step away from the trashy websites and limit your social media. You've seen enough political news reports and clickbait video clips. You'll never guess what happens next nonsense. And besides, how much of the gossip and man-made drama really helps us?